So this is going to be a question which is dealing with statistics, and to get straight into it, we're told that John measures the height of 8 students in his class, and their heights in centimeters are as follows. And we're kind of given this list, so it goes all the way across, and lists all the height of the students in John's class, and we're asked to work out the range of this data. And so basically the range is always going to be the biggest value minus the smallest value. And so if we look all the way across, we can see that the biggest number that appears is 172. And I realise this happens twice, so the last two are both 172, but we only need to take one of them as kind of the top of the end of the range. And then the bottom end of the range is going to be the smallest number that appears, which in this case is 141. And so what this means is that the range is equal to 172 minus 141, and that is going to give us a value of 31 centimeters. And so that's going to be the answer for part A. Part B asks us to write down which one of these heights, is an outlier, and to give a reason for our answer. And so an outlier is basically the data points or the kind of number in the set that doesn't fit the pattern. And so we can see, if we look at our numbers here, we've got 141, which seems quite small, and then the rest of them are all between 165 and 172. So in other words, if we put this in real terms, there's a student in this class which is way shorter than everyone else in the class. And so when you're looking for outliers, basically look for a number which is very different from the rest of the numbers. And in this case, it's going to be 141. And so our answer is simply 141. And the reason is that this is much smaller than 165 centimeters. And the reason I choose 165 is because that's the second smallest one. And so, that's kind of basically going to get you full marks, is if you write down the right answer and also put down why you put it down, and sort of just reference the fact that it's way outside the range of the rest of the values if it was taken away. And so for part C, we're asked to work out the mean of the data. And of course, the mean is just something we get by taking all the numbers, adding them together, and then dividing it by the actual number of kind of data points that we had. So in this case, it's going to be 141 plus 165 plus 167 and so on. And we're going to add all of these up and then divide by 8, because there's 8 students in the class. So I'm just going to do that now. So the answer we get out for the mean is going to be 165.5 centimeters. That is going to be it for part C. And then finally for part D, we're told that John also measures the heights of the teachers in the school. And John says that most of the teachers in my school have a height that is greater than 175 centimeters. And now we're asked to, and so if we go through these step by step, the first one says that the mean height of the teachers is greater than 175 centimeters. And we can't say that this is true, because for instance, even if most of the teachers are above this height, you could have someone who's just happens to be very small, and therefore the mean ends up being below 175, even though most of the people are above this number. So we can't rely upon the mean, because in other words, it can be affected by outliers. And so we kind of say that we can rule that one out. The second one says that the median height of the teachers is greater than 175 centimeters. And this is actually the one that has to be true, because if we were to line up all the teachers, so let's just take the simple case that there were like 4 teachers, so we line them up here from kind of shortest to tallest with the classic kind of stick man diagram. But if we line up the teachers from shortest to smallest, we can guarantee the median is always going to be in the middle. So if there were 4 teachers, 175 would be kind of the middle limit here, and then most of the teachers would be above that. Of course, it's not actually true for 4, but because there is no most when it comes to 4, given that it's an even number. But for 5 it would be true, because if we had 175 here and there were 3 teachers taller than that, the median would always be above 175, because the median would be the height of this person, who we know is at least 175 centimeters tall. And so this is kind of a question that's to test your reasoning on averages, and which average best applies in this question. And so we can put a tick in this box. We can also read the third one just to see what it was, and it was that the mode is greater than 175 centimeters. And this just means the greatest number of teachers. So let's say 2 teachers have the same height, and then none of the other teachers did. The mode would be the height of the 2 teachers who were the same. And so of course, we can't be guaranteed this is going to be more than 175, because it could just be that 2 teachers even were identical twins and they were both small, so therefore the mode is going to be too small. And so the reason for this is that the median will be the average of the middle teacher height, which must be greater than 175 centimeters. And so this is kind of the reason I give, so just kind of explaining it in words. But the most important thing is you understand the reasoning behind this, and once you understand that, you're going to be able to explain it okay. But that's going to be it for part D, and that is going to be it for this question.